Hey guys, before we get started on today's video, I want to thank all of you that showed up or watched later the live that I did last Sunday. I was definitely nervous to do that video, but you guys made it so much fun and I haven't stopped thinking about it, and I definitely want to do more live videos in the future. So I have, tons of ideas, no particular date right now, but definitely stay tuned because eventually I will come up with some more live videos. Anyway, today, this is my book haul here. Can you even see the top one? That one's the top. I think you can barely see it. Do I try to hold it? It's going to come crashing down. I don't know if I can do this. I think I said in my last haul, if you can't hold the stack, then you have too many books. Yeah. She's wobbling. Oh, she's going down. Okay, brief second, I'm holding it. I held it for a brief moment. Okay, so this month I got some thrifted books, some books from Book Outlet, an author sent me a book, and then I got this box. So I saw Shalise from And Read Another Chapter, and as well as her daughter, did this, and Becca from Hicks Picks Books. So Christian Book had, maybe still has, if they do still have it, I'll try to link it below, a mystery box of fiction books. So I did not look at my shipping label because apparently it tells you which books they shipped. So I have no idea what's in here. I did buy, I think, 2 other books that were on sale, but I don't remember what they are. So when I open this is just going to be all a surprise, and hopefully I'll remember which ones I actually intentionally purchased. Yeah, so I want to start with this because this has been sitting in my office for the last week and just like taunting me. So we're gonna start with this, see which books I got in this mystery box. But first I need scissors. Okay, scissors acquired. Yeah, so I think it's 10 books. If memory serves me correctly, it was 10 books for $10. And then the other books that I bought were like $3 to $4, I think. There was one book that I think Shalise got in her box that sounded so good, and then I found it on Book Outlet, I think. Yeah, so I did order that one. So I'm curious to see if that one is in my box as well, so maybe I have a duplicate. Yeah, so I'm gonna open this up, but I'm not gonna even look. We're just gonna like pull out one book at a time and see what it is. Maybe. Oh, this one is thick. What is this? Yeah, okay. So this is my one thing too. Becca's book looked like a lot of romance books, her box. But I don't know, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna read all of these books. I'm going to try all of these books. This is You Don't Know Me by Susan May Warren. This is a Deep Haven novel, which is part of a series, but I don't know where in the series. And so this is Christian fiction / romance. Now, if you are like a subscriber, and you should have seen in your subscriptions, I just shared my local library's bingo board, and one of the prompts was romance books, and I don't read romance, but I could probably get through a Christian fiction romance, so maybe I'll read something like this for that. This woman is a model wife and mother. She's a permanent member of the PTA. No one knows that she was once Deirdre O'Reilly, a troubled young woman whose testimony put a dangerous criminal. Oh, so we got like witness protection vibes going on here. 20 years later, she couldn't be more unprepared for her past. Then Agent Frank Harrison arrives with news that the man she testified against is out on parole and bent on revenge. So this actually like has interesting vibes. I didn't read all of that because I don't want to know. But where does this fall in this series? It doesn't say. So maybe they're not like have to read in order. copyright 2012. And what I have done in my past book hauls is share the first sentence of each book. And I think I'm going to do that for some of the books today, but not all of them. Mostly if I'm like intrigued by a book and I'm curious about this one. So the prologue is, "There simply wasn't enough grace to survive saying goodbye." That is actually a really good first sentence. I like that. So not a book I would normally pick up, but I'm not disappointed. Okay. Oh, you guys. This is not my kind of cover. Beyond I do. I really don't like people on covers. And then, yeah, okay, let's see here. So look, it's romance. Marriage is more than happily ever after. Ainsley Meadows, raised by a hedonistic mother who relentlessly cycles through jobs and relationships. Her wedding nears, a battered woman and her child spark a long-forgotten dream, a hidden passion. If she wants to embrace God's best plan and find lasting love, the security-seeking bride must follow God with reckless abandon and realize that marriage goes beyond I do. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be like picking this up first thing, but I think it might be fun to do like a reading vlog where I read a few of these or something. I think that one of them, maybe Becca, I don't remember which one of them got this in their box as well. Interesting. Okay. Don't look, don't look, don't look. Oh, yes, and one of them got this one as well, Eden Hill. So nothing seems to change in Eden Hill, and that's just fine with Virgil. He's been content to raise his family and run the only service station in town. What is this? It's fiction historical. This is by Bill Higgs, who apparently, yes, is Liz Curtis Higgs' husband. I haven't read any Liz Curtis Higgs in forever, but I heard her speak years ago, and she is an amazing speaker. So yeah, I'm curious about this. This is also not something I would normally pick up, but it's kind of why I got this box. Oh, this is one I bought. When Death Draws Near. So this is book 3 or 4 by Carrie Stewart Parks. The first one was A Cry from the Dust, and then I own The Bones Will Speak. And then I think maybe this one is book 3. It doesn't say. So this is following Gwen Marcy, and she is a forensic artist. Yeah, and I really liked book 1. Gwen as a character is not my favorite, but I really like the writing and the twists, so I want to finish the series. So I think I have the other book from the series in here as well, if memory serves me correctly. Let's try this thing. Oh, okay guys. Step by step. Yeah, are they all going to be like romance? 3 years after a tragic accident left her a widow, ER nurse Taylor is determined to move on. Oh dear. Her relationship with a handsome plastic surgeon even gives her hope for the last point to fall in love again. Until crisis chaplain Seth Donovan steps back into her life, reawakening unanswered questions about her husband's death. Oh, well, interestingly, this author is a former ER nurse, so at least there's that. It hopefully won't be like unrealistic as far as the medical side of things goes, but yeah, this is not my kind of book. Well, I have a whole video on my thoughts on Christian romance. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much more to say about that. I was afraid that these would all be like romance. What's this? Oh, this was another one that I think Shalise got. Sister Eve, Private Eye, a divine private detective agency mystery. So Sister Eve knows God moves in mysterious ways, and Eve adores a good mystery, especially a murder. So this is just fiction. It doesn't say romance on here. 2 decades into her calling at a New Mexico monastery, Sister Evangeline Divine breaks her daily routine when a police officer appears carrying a message from her father. She's seen her fair share of crime and knows a thing or two about solving mysteries. But Captain Jackson Divine needs her to return home and help him recover from surgery. She finds herself taking on his latest case. And it doesn't say anything in here about like any kind of guide that makes it sound like a romance. So I love this quote on the bottom. Get thee to a nunnery, Sherlock. I like the get thee to a nunnery. quote from, I'm pretty sure Shakespeare, right? I quoted that a lot in high school. And yeah, I like the twist. Okay, I'm looking forward to that one. Let's see what's next. They Danced On, a darling family novel. Fiction / family life. Oh, family life. Not normally my kind of thing because I don't like books that follow people over a long period of time generally, but nothing is more important to Jane Darling than her family. When her husband becomes seriously ill, she finds herself taking on the most difficult role she's ever had. She moved away to, oh, this is, I think, the daughter, Laura, moved away to escape the expectations of her family. She went through rehab, but when it all begins to unravel, Laura's heart turns toward home. Follow the Darling family through triumph and tragedy as they struggle with an uncertain future. Definitely not my favorite kind of book. Or, okay, no, that's not what I mean. Definitely not a book that I would be drawn to, but I am curious about, because I've never read anything like this and I would normally stay away from it. Yeah, but okay. What else we got here? The Justice Game. I feel like maybe I saw this cover on someone else's, but Singer is every bit as enjoyable as John Grisham, who I've never read anything by, but is a very popular author. Fiction / suspense. So you guys, this is Christian suspense with no romance, according to the back. For some, justice is a game. For others, it's a matter of life and death. After the target of an investigative report storms a Virginia Beach town news studio, he executes one of the reporters on live television before the SWAT team is able to take him down. Following the victim's funeral, her family files a lawsuit against the gun company who manufactured the killer's weapon of choice. I have no idea, but this sounds interesting. This is an author I've never heard of before, and it kind of sounds like a genre I would enjoy. I mean, I like suspense. Yeah, try that one out. Okay, this is the one, you guys. This is the one I wanted and totally bought from Book Outlet. But my Book Outlet one was free, so whatever. This one sounded interesting. The string is, welcome to the string. Let's go over the ground rules. Number 1, participation is mandatory. Number 2, if any person refuses to play, the threats to all players will come to pass. Since this is my game, allow me to introduce myself. I am the conductor. Just as musicians in a symphony must follow the conductor's direction, the selected students or staff of Trenton University must submit to my commands or risk massive chaos and deadly consequences. So this is, I think this is a story written by the viewpoint of a serial killer, but it's Christian fiction. I think, I don't know, but it sounded really interesting. So I want to read the first sentence of this one. The branding iron pulsated reddish orange in the corner fireplace. Okay. Oh my goodness, how many books are in here? What have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the one I bought. So there should be 2 more plus another one that I bought. Oh, did someone have this one as well? Blessing. This is fiction, Christian, romance. How can I convince thee I cannot afford to love thee? What? An impetuous love swept Blessing Brightham away from the Quaker community and into the high ranks of Cincinnati society. This is, what? What is this? But behind the glitter of ballroom and parlor, an increasingly dangerous marriage eroded her spirit. Widowed young, Blessing reclaimed her faith and vowed to use her influence to fight for women's rights and determined never to lose her independence again. I'm very confused by this, actually. Quaker Brides series. Okay. They sent me one of the books twice? I have this one already. So, okay. That means I only get 9 different books. The Last Sacrifice. Christian fiction historical. One man dies so others will live. Nero's men hunt down innocent fugitives and a perilous scroll points the way to a truth that refuses to be suppressed. Whew. Okay, so Christian historical fiction. So then, now I need to look at my receipt because I'm very confused. They sent me 2 of the same book. So I might actually email them about that because that's kind of weird. But that was still fun. Out of the ones that I was sent, the ones that sound the most interesting to me are these 3. So The String, The Justice Game, and Sister Eve Private Eye. And I have 2 of these. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that, but oh well. And then obviously this one that I actually intentionally bought. Now where should we go from here? Let's just do Book Outlet. So I talked about a few of these when I was doing my library haul because some of the books that I got in my library haul I had actually just bought. So one of them is The Lost Property Office. So I read a book by James R. Hannibal this month, and his writing was intriguing to me because he is, now I forget, he has some kind of like military background, and he, you know, so then I feel like their stories are more believable. What is he? He's a US Air Force stealth bomber pilot and Predator mission commander. Like, that sounds cool. And so this is a middle grade series that I think is fantasy. It says you're a tracker, Jack, just like your father and his father before him. 13-year-old Jack can find things, not just a missing glove or the other sock, but things normal people have long given up on ever seeing again. Mysterious things, magical things. If only he could find his father who has disappeared in London without a trace. Yeah, so this is a series. This is book 1. I thought I would try book 1 before ordering more of the series. I'm trying to do that a little bit more these days. And then, yeah, so then I also bought The String, but now I have a double of that. And then I was trying to fill up my cart, and this is totally cover by. So Nancy, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Meal, whatever it is. I shared one of her books in my library haul, and they had book 2 and book 3 at Book Outlet, so I was like, I'm just gonna buy them because, I don't know, the covers look really good to me. I know that Becca just shared in her mid-month wrap-up that book 1 was like a 3-star for her, so hopefully these ones, like hopefully the series gets better. Yeah, I don't know, I totally judge a book by its cover, and I don't care that I do. I'm fine with that. Yeah, so I got those. Then I got the first 2 books in the Enola Holmes series. They have had more than this, but I really want to collect this edition. So I read book 1 for middle grade March, and so book 2, this one is The Case of the Missing Marquis, and I think this is book 2. Yeah, this is The Case of the Left-Handed Lady. So I'll pick this one up eventually. Then I got 9 by Rochelle Decker. I think this one, it kind of comes after The Girl Behind the Red Robe, if I'm not mistaken. Zoe Johnson has spent most of her life living in the shadows, never drawing attention to herself, never investigating in people or places. But when a wide-eyed, bedraggled teenager with no memory walks into the diner where Zoe works, everything changes. So it says it's suspense. I'm just curious if it has cult elements as well, because The Girl Behind the Red Rope is supposed to be have some kind of cult vibes. I don't know. I haven't even read the Girl Behind the Red Rope yet, but I don't know. That one was calling to me. And then this one was another one I got out from the library, My Life with the Liars. Anne from Elizabeth Ann Reed's was kind of raving about this book. It is about a girl. She escapes some kind of cult, and I think this story starts when she leaves the cult and then follows her, and so that's an interesting perspective I haven't read yet. And this is by Kayla Carter, who wrote Forever or a Long Time, which was a very well done story about kids that got adopted out of foster care. So I feel like she hopefully would do a really good job with this book as well. Okay, then one day Holly texted me and she was like, this thrift store is having you buy a bin or a box or whatever for $2, as many books as you can fit in there. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. And then it happened that I could make it. I had 10 minutes in the store and I kind of wanted to just like pull in all the books, but I tried to stick with ones I'd heard of before. So if you were on the live, you may have saw this one, Love Comes Softly. Not normally my kind of book, but this is one that I read as a teenager. It's about a young girl who travels west, and her husband dies, like I think right at the beginning of the book. And it's an interesting story and it really stuck with me. The main points of the story, I don't remember the details. So yeah, I saw it and I was like, well, it's pretty much free. Like I found a couple books I wanted, and so this is just kind of like a freebie and it might be interesting to reread it. Then I got Roland Bingham, who I've never heard of before, but we have been collecting this Christian Heroes Then and Now series, and he was apparently a missionary into Africa's interior, and I really like this series, so I was excited to find that. Then one of my 5-star reads from the year was Pictures of Hollis Woods, and I found this book, so I was excited about that. This is about a girl, it's a middle grade story about a girl in foster care who ends up staying with a woman who's kind of like slowly getting dementia or losing her mind, her memories, and yeah, this one was really good. Then 2 books that I kind of thought were kind of mediocre. Which one comes first? I think this one was book 1. Sir Bentley and Holbrook Court. No, this one's from book 1. Sir Kendrick and the Castle of Belle Leon. So these are Christian fiction, kind of like they're knights and they're fighting for the prince and stuff like that. I've read, I think, the first 2 or 3 books in the series, and yeah, they're kind of mediocre, but they were there and I couldn't leave them, and yeah. And then I've never heard of this author, but this particular thrift store has a lot of Christian fiction, and this one is Network of Deception by Spencer E. Moses, and this is apparently a suspense. He's committed to his country, she's committed to her God. Okay, right there, that sounds like there's going to be a romantic element, but it doesn't say that here. The problem is someone is committed to their destruction. Eric Stone is used to being in control. Years ago, he left the CIA to start his own spy agency. Israeli Simone Cool is joined Mossad years ago to serve her people and her God. Yeah, I don't know. It probably does sound like there will be some kind of like romantic element in there. But I was curious because I've never heard of this author. Let's try the prologue here. The wind picked up, blowing a thin cloud of dust over the bleak Israeli field that provided a cemetery for the kibbutz. Not the most thrilling opening sentence. Okay, and then speaking of Holly, she once again was at the thrift store a different day and sent me a picture because she knows I've been collecting this Dear Canada series for my daughter for homeschool for general historical knowledge. So I got Orphan at My Door. This is the Home Child Diary of Victoria Cope. Guelph, Ontario, 1897. A Ribbon of Shining Steel. This is a Railway Diary. Yale, British Columbia, 1882. Whispers of War. War of 1812 Diary. Niagara, Upper Canada, 1812. And then Nizika, Warrior Queen of Matamba. Angola, Africa, 1595. So this one is the Royal Diaries series. So I was really excited about that. And then she also found, and she was like, I think probably a little confused about this one, but this is James Herriot's Cat Stories. And I've been wanting to read more of his books. I think we own Animal Stories, so I don't know if there's any overlap or not, but we had just, like, I think the day before she texted me, rehomed our cat, and so I thought this would be fitting. Also, look at this awesome bookmark. That's something retro looking. Yeah, so Cat Stories. Then I went to a little free library because little ones had a visit with birth family, and it's close to the place I had to go is close to an awesome little free library. So I got Wayside School Gets a Little Stranger. This one is for my son because he enjoys the Wayside School stories. Then I got James Patterson's Target, Alex Cross. I know zero about this, but this James Patterson is one of the authors I'm supposed to read for my library book things. So yeah, I have that. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to like James Patterson. You can let me know, like, am I going to like this? I don't know if it's like full of swears or violence or whatever, but it was a little free library, so I figured I could at least try it. Then I've never heard of Alison Strobel, but this is The Heart of Memory. The Heart of Memory it's called. And it's just general Christian fiction. Savannah expected to receive a new heart, but she didn't expect to lose her faith. So yeah, I don't know. Once again, it was free. I'm more willing to pick up like just the general book then. And then I got 2 American Girl ones. This is Rebecca 1914 and Josephina Secrets in the Hills. Once again, just kind of like history books for my daughter. And then I have one more book. And this one's really cool. So this one was sent to me by an author, and it's called The Sword Speaker Saga. And this is book 1, True Silver. And he said it's kind of like the Wingfeather Saga and, oh, I think some other book. I don't remember which one he said. But he sent me this cool note, which just fell through here. And then in the note, he said, I'm sending along this ancient letter I found. I'm not sure, but it appears to have some connection to this bound tome, which I'm also sending you. This way. Perhaps you, with your sagely insights, can unravel the mystery of the words within. So, I got this letter, you guys. It's like wax sealed. And I thought, I haven't opened it yet. I thought I would open it on video here. So, I'm gonna see if I can. I've never actually had to open a wax seal before. Try not to break the seal because it looks so cool. But I also don't want to rip the paper. This is just like such a cool element to the book and the story here. Okay, so that looks cool. Chief Bookmaster of Gilding. Enclosed, you shall, the wax got on here. Find the first installment of the account you requested, namely the details of the Second Great War of the Glaives? I don't know. I know you are anxious to have this record, not only for the great library itself, but also in regards to your friend and master, whose fate was ultimately bound up in these events. As touching... it lost a spot. As touching someone's fate, you have my sincerest sympathies. The 4 wards suffered many great losses in the war, not least of all his, and yet these lands are stronger for his sacrifice. For as it is so often the case, where there is joy, there is also sorrow, and each victory is not without cost. Wow, I just hit my max recording time. That never happens. When the author emailed me, he said, he described the book, and it's about a boy whose father was a coward, and it's like, I think it's like knights and stuff, but just some of the things that he talked about, it really reminded me of Skyward and how she had to deal with the prejudices because her father had been a coward. Yeah, so I'm really curious about this one. I want to read this really soon and let you guys know what I think. It's kind of like knights, I think, but it's also like fantasy. He needs to, in order to restore his family's honor, he needs to win the village's annual sword fighting contest. It says, can a simple shepherd learn to master his blade before his hopes and his people are crushed? So, yeah, like, and this is like a gorgeous, oh, you guys. I love printed hardcovers. This must be such an expensive book, and I'm so thankful that he sent me like this wonderful copy. So yeah, want to read this soon. And that ends my book haul. Let me know, I don't know, what you have enjoyed from these books, which ones you're excited for me to read. And yeah, thanks again for watching, guys, and I will be back next Monday for another video.